Can I see numbers?
Ready?
Isis, look wonderful back there.
Thank you.
Get off your phone, Isis.
1 second. I'm sharing.
What are the viewers seeing right now?
Seeing us, all three of us, right there.
Oh, so is that us on the left on my screen?
I can't see your screen. I wish I was there with you in
My
Arizona,
screen
but I'm
is
not.
Me on top, Isis bottom left, and Trav bottom right.
Wow, the three is what's live.
Well,
are
right
live
now.
and happy.
Oh, there we are.
Seeing us, all three of
Oh,
us.
turn down my volume here.
Yeah,
Okay.
That Isis. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. This is always fun, man. I don't know if anyone's watching yet, if anyone still cares, but whatever. We're here, members of the Detroit cast. Isis is here. As you can see, he's got a lovely... You're on a anal, right? At the
Yep.
lake?
Yes, sir. I got a plane coming overhead right now.
Yeah. We can hear the birds chirping and
Oakland
planes.
International Airport.
Is that what it is? That is the voice of Travis Bully. Thank you, Travis, for being here. I know you. I interrupted your family walk and your day. From what I understand, it's outside today. Is that true?
You were Mr. Robot for just a second. What was the question, Mike?
No, I said, I'm sorry to interrupt you guys' day. I hear it was nice in Michigan.
E and I were talking before the show. I think this may have been the best day so far, if you like 70 and mostly sunny or partly sunny.
Yeah, Steve Gabara called me earlier, and I was like, how's the weather, dude? And I think he said it was 71. I was like, all right, that's getting better. He said, yeah, well, it's going to rain the next couple days. So
yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. It actually is really nice here, probably about 85 and sunny. And I see you're out on the lake. That's nice. I was kind of busting your balls like you're at this beautiful place on the, well, not officially on the lake. You're on the Ka'anal, but
Right.
it looks nice. You got some nice gray skies behind you, but it's getting late in the day.
I mean, I could do this, I guess.
do that for the whole time. There we go.
I got all excited to come set this up today, and then for the first time since I've been here, the neighbors over here were going to start doing a barbecue, I noticed, and I was like, fuck, I don't know if I want to be out here doing, not because, like, you could obviously sit out here and talk, but, like, who knows what I'm going to say when we're doing a show, so if they're out eating their freaking hot dogs and I'm just talking about fucking butt sex or some shit, but
yeah, well, let's have a full hearty discussion about butt sex, if you will. See if we can get your neighbor one. Why don't you go over there and introduce yourself, man? Stay 6 feet back. See if they won't toss you a dog or two.
Oh, I talked to them. I've talked to both. I've talked to my neighbors.
Yeah,
we're at the waving point now, where if I see them outside, I give a hey, how's it going?
Yeah, howdy. Hey, folks. Hey, morning to you. Yeah, I do that with people here when they drive by when I'm on my walk. Ma'am, howdy. I'll wave at them.
Oh, here we go.
Do my thing.
There we go. There's a guy going down a jet ski or something. I don't know if you can see that or not, but
you're no different than anyone on, CNN or whatever. You're via satellite, man. You're
exactly.
You're at work. Tell them to shut the fuck up and leave you alone. You're
right.
Working. Nothing to worry about.
Trying to do a podcast out here. God damn it.
There you go. Yell at the kids. Why not?
Right.
I was concerned about Leon. You've been there for weeks now, and very little time spent at home with Leon. And I'm wondering how he's doing. If he's hanging in there.
He is not a Leon, by the way. We didn't tell people that part, but I found out. Well, I found out apparently that through his adoption papers that I guess originally Tony's name was Leon. And I don't remember that at all, but
yeah. Well, I call him he's Leon to me now. You can't just change someone's name midway through life unless he wanted to do that.
Oh,
and I think that was your family wanted to do that. So, yeah, no, I don't think that counts. He's Leon to me. So how's he doing?
He's doing good. He actually, I mean, some of the listeners know because I post stuff on Facebook, but he actually had a pretty bad situation about a month ago where he was going through some kind of sickness where he had and he wasn't looking good, to be honest with you. I'm not going to say he was on death's door, but he was starting to do what animals do when they're in that mode, like going into rooms and just like sitting by himself and staring at the wall, essentially. And it got
well, this coronavirus thing, it's hit everybody hard, and Leon's no different.
Right, exactly.
He's really feeling the effects. His is not around as much. Dude, I
Right.
gotta tell you, I've got Chevy here. I've got Shelby. Yep, that's good poops. Great dog. And then I've got 3 cats here too. And they're the weirdest fucking cats I've ever seen. One, Gizmo, like the other couple times I met him, you couldn't sit on the couch if he was sitting up on the couch. He'd take a swipe at you. They all have their nails.
Ugh.
And he was just a fucking dick. He's nicer now, but he's still a dick face. Like you can hand him treats and he'll jump up and claw you to grab him, and he'll yell at you if you get too close. The other cat, B, is scared of its own shadow. Won't come near anybody but G. And then there's Osiris, who's a fucking weirdo too. Black cat. I've just never experienced this. Like Leon's extremely friendly. If you go to your house, Leon's very, very. And Monster was very friendly. And Pants, you could chill with Pants. And you guys both know. You've been to my house. Those cats will jump in your lap and not leave.
Yeah, I mean, Fiend to Claude really helps with Tony and not.
Yeah, Lee's the Claude. Monster was the Claude, but Pants isn't. Pants isn't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sometimes, but they're playful.
Yeah, it's very intentional when Pants does it. I did want to pose a question. Something happened to me. I'm kind of distraught about it. Just a half hour ago, G and I were sitting out back just talking, and the warden came out, Amanda, and she poses this question to G and I. Hey, do guys ever send nude pictures of themselves to their guy friends? And G and I were like, no, never. If G sent me a nude picture of him or any of my friends, really, I'd block them. You know what I mean? Like they would no longer be in my inner circle. Why? And she says that one of her girlfriends just sent her a full nude picture of her. And I was like, let's go. Let's see it. And she's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no? She's like, no. And I'm like, is she hot at all? And G's like, which friend is it? I'll tell you if it's worth seeing her nude. I'm like, well, it's worth seeing her nude regardless. She sent a new picture. And then from what I understand, her titties are gorgeous. And I mean, the warden won't show me. Don't you guys think that's bullshit? If you bring it up, she brought it up, unsolicited, came out and said, posed the question. Like once it's brought up and we're aware of this photo's existence, don't you think that we have a right to see it?
I think I think that you do. I could understand just because how humans are, her not showing her husband, not because she's jealous, but because there's just something about the fact that once you've seen a naked person, like he sees her now at dinner, he's like, I saw you naked, or whatever.
Saw them titties.
Right. But I think you should be able to see it because you're not going to see this person.
No, and if I do, it's not like I'm going to go, oh, hey, yeah, I feel like I've already met you. I saw your titties in vagine once. Like, I know that would be rude. I wouldn't do that.
Well, I don't think your brother would either, but there's still something about the fact that I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
So I think she should have showed you, but not him.
That's a well thought out statement. I had not thought about that G is going to have to interact with this individual from time to time. And so his wife is, as a protection thing, not a jealousy thing, might not want to have that visual planted in his head for all time. So that's right. Trav, how do you feel? I feel like 100% of guys listening right now would say 100% of the time I have a right to see that since you brought it up.
I mean, you know me, I'm rather conservative and rather stay out of some of these conversations, but I'll speak for all the guys. Yes, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, Jennifer...
I'm not speaking for myself.
But Jennifer wouldn't come to you and say, hey, my girlfriend sent a nude photo to me. You at that point, I don't care how conservative you are, wouldn't your natural reaction be to be like, all right, let's see it. Let's go. You brought it up. You didn't have to bring it up, but you did.
Exactly. She brought it up. Yep.
Yeah. And like I say, completely unsolicited. So I'm going to work overtime to see this photo. I won't show you guys. I mean, maybe I'll show you two, but I won't show the whole audience. But I'm going to see that photo. I guarantee it. And if I have to steal her phone to do it, I will. But G thinks he can, where he's like,
what was the premise of her sending it? Did she ever get into why it was even sent?
I think from what I heard, and I was so furious, red-faced with anger that I couldn't see the photo, that I'm kind of in and out of where this conversation went, to be honest with you. Pure frustration. but I believe she had gotten a new bathing suit, and it was one of those ones that women are wearing now where they hike them up over the belly button. Not a good look. And the elastic presents a sort of like rollish thing. And so her girlfriends, when she sent a photo of her wearing this suit, her girlfriend started slightly mocking, like, what the fuck you wearing, blah, blah, blah. And looks like a dick bulge or something there. And so she disrobed and then said, fuck all you guys. This is what it really looks like. And then sent a photo, which I have mad respect for. But if you're going to be that blatant about it, then we should get to see it, especially when it's been brought to my attention.
I think she just wanted to send a nude picture. That does not seem like enough reason to send a nude picture, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If you told me I look like shit in my new pants, I would not take them off and be like, oh, yeah. Is this better? Like that wouldn't happen to me.
Like, it's a very, very, I don't know, just a very shaky premise to even send it. Not that I mean, whatever, but like,
you think she was proud of her body and wanted to show it off without looking like she was like, oh, look at me.
Yeah, I guess. Or maybe she wanted to, who knows? Maybe she wanted to show these people something and see what's going, just a little dips in the toe in the water or whatever.
Yeah, get some positive feedback, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe see if someone's like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah.
And a week later, kind of like, God, I got to be honest. Ever since you sent that picture last week, I can't get it out of my head. So
okay. First of all, guys, Dan voted. We said we would interact with the audience.
Yeah.
First of all, he agrees. Second of all, my mother's watching, so I'm staying out of the conversation now.
Hi, Mrs. Wolf. That's awesome. Your mom's watching?
I don't know how that happened.
Does she know which one's you, the top picture or the bottom one? She's like,
we look a lot alike. Actually, my hair's kind of down right now, but I bet you I could give your plume a run for its money.
Yeah,
it's getting pretty serious.
If your mom's
you're gonna have to.
It looks like my boy hasn't showered for a week up top, and then that's the Travis I know down below.
What's ironic about the showering is, especially about a few weeks ago, I was so paranoid. I went through a little period where I was really paranoid, and I was taking like 2 showers a day even, and like changing my clothes and washing my face down with soap and everything, and washing my hands so much they were red. But I still never bothered to wash my hair, actually. Like,
why would you?
It's one of the weirdest things about him, Trav. He's said that before. Like, he'll take a shower and not wash his hair. I'm like, what is the point? You're already there. Spend the extra 30 seconds.
I hate the rinsing and the repeating. I hate putting it in there and then having to. Well,
you don't have to repeat just because the bottle says it. They want to sell more shampoo. You don't have to rinse and repeat.
There's something about it that I don't like.
The argument.
When would you stop repeating?
Is not to not do it at all.
Well, the thing is, I don't know what it is about it, because although I am kind of dirty, like I said, though, I went through this period here where I was taking 2 showers a day, washing my hands so much they were red, but I don't want to fucking take the time to wash my hair. I hate it. I don't know what it is, but I hate it.
Travis, is there a time in your life when you've been in the shower and did not wash your hair?
No. In fact, that's one of the primary reasons I wash my hair or take a shower is because I hate greasy hair.
Dude, I do too. I've had that before, probably, well, when I was a kid, probably a lot, but since, high school, I can't go a day without taking a shower and washing my hair. Not a day. Like, if I wake up the next day, like if I was sick or something and I didn't shower that day, I get up the next morning, I can't walk downstairs. I like run to the shower. I feel so gross. And then I know there are people that wash their hair twice a week. It freaks me out. I don't understand it at all. But
without the
it damages the hair, Mike.
That's what I hear. I don't give a shit.
To do it every time.
That's what they say. You're not supposed to wash your blue jeans either.
But the thing is, without
washing my jeans, you're not supposed to wash blue jeans. I heard.
But but see, if I wash my hair, the times I actually wash it, it bugs. It actually, I don't get this. The grease to me is what makes the plume, because the greasiness is what I can do this and it sticks up and has that look to it. So
just keep it away from open flames. That's all.
Yeah. That thing will go up. Put a match to that, and you will lose that entire plume in a day. You'll be.
By the way,
yeah.
An update on the Ka'anal. It's very busy today. People are definitely taking. There's been about 5 boats that gone by already. So if anyone cares.
Have you been out yet, Trav? Is it against the law for you to take your yacht out?
It's not a yacht. It's not against the law, but it is still in storage, unfortunately, up in Fenton. So we're waiting any day now.
Yeah. I want to go back on the boat, but you make me take my flip-flops off. It's kind of...
That stuck with you, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
Sorry, man.
Yeah, we're all on the...
What about me?
And whatever. We all got to be barefoot. It's your nature. I understand.
You were invited, E. I forget why you couldn't go there.
Would I be able to take my... Would I have to take my socks off?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, you can keep them on.
No, he can keep them on. You do not want those monstrous, wizard toes in your boat at all. I'm surprised you put him on there. He's the only one allowed to wear shoes. Oh, anyway, email in if you'd like, Eric@DetroitCast.com, Walters@DetroitCast.com, or Travis@DetroitCast.com. We got the email set up for you, Trav. If people have technical questions, they can write into you.
I have 0 emails.
You have 0 so far. You'll get.
I would just.
I'm joking. I know.
It's the first time I've announced you have an email. Write us in and let me know if I'm way off base on this. If your girl or someone comes up to you and talking about this new photo, don't have an obligation. I think I know which way that debate will end, but I'd appreciate it. Also want to mention MyPillow.com, proud sponsor of the show. Please use promo code TDC. And I was looking at their deals today. Buy one, get one free, basically on everything. Duvet covers, pillowcases. Those are Giza. Those are Giza, all of them. Even the Giza MyPillow. $59, $59.97. Buy one, get one free with the code. You got to use the code TDC to get it. Mike's new book, What Are the Odds? Fantastic. It's unbelievable. And if anyone that buys a book with using the TDC code will get a $25 gift card to anything MyPillow related. The sheets, I love their Giza sheets. Those are buy one, get one free as well. 6-piece towel set is also buy one, get one. So you can't beat the deals. MyPillow.com. Just make sure you use the promo code TDC to get all the great savings. And also our Amazon link. If you guys are like,
oh my God, if people are buying Amazon right now and not using the link, holy shit, Amazon's making so much money right now.
I mean, that's all we're using on. I got to mention, we've got an Amazon link. Go to DetroitCast.com. It's above the fold on the right side of our page, right there. Click on the Amazon link. Shop as normal. There's no more charge or anything. They just give us credit for it. And so it's a win-win. You guys get whatever supplies you need, and we get a little benefit too. So please, we wanted to mention that as well.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
By the way, when you talk about Mike Lindell, I know that he's been like this before, but when he was at the White House talking about how he's making the masks and stuff, it finally hit me that day. I told my dad, I said, you do like degrees of separation. Like you could, like we were there in Mike Lindell's office. We've met him in person. You could talk to him tomorrow if you really wanted to.
Sure.
And he can talk. He can contact the president. So that
I think the president follows him on Twitter. It's crazy. Right. I know. We do have. I got to finish this book. I've been lazy since I got out here, and I read literally the first 4 pages of his book, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to put this thing down.
Been doing a lot of activities, have you?
Yeah, dude, I got a 5-year-old. Like the necklace. Marshall made me.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Marshall came in and made it for me, and so I gotta represent.
How's his butt doing?
His butt is doing good. Apparently, there was an issue again the other day, but that's been cleared up. I don't know what was done. I was not going to handle it, but no, it's been a good couple weeks since he came in and said, Uncle Mike, I have a hurt in my butthole, which was weird from a 5-year-old. I don't know what he expected me to do about that, but yeah, I got him a T-shirt. His new T-shirt showed up in the mail yesterday that said, "You think I'm cool? You should meet my uncle."
Oh, jeez. God.
It's just funny to see a 5-year-old running around. My dad got him a shirt. He wears it all the time. It says, "Grandpa is my homie."
Nice.
Yeah. So he loves those shirts. And so I hooked him up. I'll get him a couple more as well. We should get to some of the new.
Real quick, by the way, also, I had a situation yesterday. Yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, sorry, the night before. Anyway, I'm in the house. I'm walking around, dude. and all of a sudden, like I stepped down, and a terrible sharp pain in my toe hits, and I thought like they got a lot of pine cones around here, so I thought, oh, maybe I got a pine cone in my sock or some shit, dude. And because I don't see anything on the ground, I pull my sock off, dude, and I'm not fucking kidding you, dude. A bee, like all this out of nowhere, here just buzzing and shit, dude. I don't know if he was in my sock or if he was on the floor or what exactly happened, but I mean, dude, I basically stepped on a bee and got stung
God.
in the kitchen, dude. Like,
which toe did it affect? Which
it was
pig
like
was it the one that goes to market?
The one next to the big toe, whatever that one is.
So it's this little pig went to market. It's the pig that stayed home. Trav, do I have that?
I guess. I don't know how it goes. But dude, I swear to God, like I don't
all the way back home. It's not that pig, but I think it's the one that stayed home. It's not the one that likes roast beef.
But it's like, dude, I swear to God, like I don't even know. I don't want to say this thing was in my sock, but on the same hand, I don't even know an explanation for it because I just all of a sudden I'm in the kitchen. I step down and a sharp fucking pain in my toe, and I'm looking. I don't see anything, and I take my sock off. I start shaking it around, thinking maybe there was something in there, and then I hear this buzzing sound, and I see a fucking bee over on the fucking floor.
I'm sorry, E. I'm multitasking over here. I didn't hear the first part. Were you wearing like shoes or sandals with socks?
No, socks.
Oh, just walking around in socks.
Just walking around with socks. And at first, like I said, they got a lot of pine needles around here, so I thought maybe I got a pine needle in my sock somehow. Or
it was not a pine needle. We know that. We've established that it was in fact a bee.
Yeah.
Now, do you have giant gaping holes in your sock? Because you're curious as to whether or not the bee was on the floor or in your sock. If you were wearing the sock, there's virtually no chance the bee crawled in to your sock, made its way down to the pig that stayed home and decided to bite. I'm assuming you stepped on a fucking bee.
Yeah, probably. Because I mean, there's kind of a.
Were you walking outside in your socks?
No,
yeah.
in the kitchen. The bee moved in.
But well, the thing is, I will say in this house, there's patio that I'm out right now. I go out here regularly, and just to look at the water and stuff. And sometimes I leave the doors open. So I mean, obviously, probably what happened is that it went in. But like the fact that it was on the floor, I guess, and I just stepped on it. I mean, what are the fucking odds? Like that.
They're just now getting active again. He probably wasn't flying around very good yet, and then you stepped on his ass. Good job, poor guy.
Coming out of hibernating, and you ruined his day. Did you kill him?
You know what? I don't even know where he went. I don't think so because I saw him. He buzzed over to the floor a little bit. I was like, and actually, I was almost scared to look to see if it was a wasp or a bee. I mean, it could have been a wasp, I suppose, but so when I say a bee, I don't really know what it was. I just know it was a buzzing animal or buzzing flying thing, and it went over on the ground. And I was like, "Fuck, man!"
Yeah,
it hurt. It hurt for about 5 minutes, and it was gone. But good thing I'm not allergic to bees, I guess. But
yeah, well. Be more careful. If they're flying around your house like that, you don't want to step on a bee, Jesus.
Well, I had one at freaking a music festival one time where I was drinking a beer. The bee had gone into my beer.
Oh, that's scary.
And I went to drink the beer, and it just fucking, boom, bit my lip.
He bit your lip and not your throat.
Yeah. Or stung my lip or whatever. Stung my...
They can bite you in the throat if you swallow it.
I think he stung my lip, I guess, or whatever, because my lip got all swollen and shit.
I think we knew what he did. He stung your lip. He did not bite your lip. I don't know that.
That's what I meant.
But yeah.
I meant to say sting, but
yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
So, Mike, I didn't get to look at your stories yet. Perhaps it's in the deck, but Cliff Cook wants us to talk about the UFO, the Pentagon's declassified videos, the UFOs thing. I'll be honest, and it's something right up my alley. I did not look at that article, so hopefully you have it.
You know what? I don't have it, but I did breeze past it, and I'm familiar with the story. The Tic Tac. It looks like a tic flying in space out there. That I want to say it was Air Force pilots or Navy pilots had spotted multiple of them. I believe it, dude. I started watching some of that Tom DeLonge. It's Tom, right?
Yeah.
UFOs. And
all the
there's small things.
Mark came out today. He did a big tournament on what his favorite Blink songs were, and all the things lost like in the second round, by the way.
Really? So, yeah, that happens with an overplayed hit.
Right.
That doesn't surprise me. That video with those pilots, we've talked about it before. They did a really good job in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s of just making anyone who thought alien life existence or spotted a flying craft in space, they were just hillbillies. They were just
Right.
some local yokel in the backyard. I think I saw some lights I ain't seen before, and they could always say, "Oh, it was a water balloon."
A weather balloon.
Weather balloon. Yeah, thank you, weather balloon. Or they could always write it off like that. But when you start getting these military guys who are well educated, very smart, very crisp, kind of people, and those people never came out because they risk losing their job or they'd get called crazy. No one believed them. But once the dam started to break on some of that, and a lot of those guys have come out and gone, yeah, we've seen some things out there that we can't, we don't know how to explain. And that Tic Tac thing, it looks like a flying Tic Tac. If you've seen the video in there, what is that they have on the plane that is picking that up? Is it the radar?
It looks like it's like some sort of infrared imaging system. Again, I didn't read into it. I clicked by it this morning. I was going to look into it later, and I got busy with work. Well, the interesting thing, it was like 2005 and I think 15 or 7 and 14 or something like that. So they're spread apart over several years.
Yes.
Similar but different technologies, similar shapes as you're talking about. And so I tend to believe it. Of course, Pentagon's already tamping it down like, no, guys, it's not what you think it is. But
well, then what is?
Oh, why not? Yeah.
I mean, if it's picking up on the radar, because it looks like a flying Tic Tac, you can't see detail. It's out there, but they don't know what it is. And when you see this thing on the radar, and these pilots, one was a female pilot and one was a guy, and they were flying in tandem, and this thing like stopped in midair and then came flying through them, just like went right between them, and they're like, "What the fuck was that?" And so these guys, the Tom DeLonge guys, and Tom is a very small part of it. He's just the rock star with money and access. But a lot of these guys, one guy was in charge of, and I can't remember where, I think this was on the History Channel or something. He was in charge of like the classified information for the government regarding this stuff, looking into it, because a lot of pilots had seen these sort of things out there that they couldn't explain, unidentified flying objects. And he ended up quitting his job because he didn't want to keep his mouth shut any longer. And so there's this whole group of these guys trying to figure out, took them down to California, down into Mexico, where the sightings got crazy big, and they were seeing like massive amounts of these same objects going to a certain place. They didn't know exactly where, but somewhere into Mexico, and some pilots there like, oh yeah, we've seen some strange things. And I don't know how to explain it. I'm not saying I believe 100% of it, but boy, oh boy, there's some evidence that's piling up that is way more than just the headlines of an alien craft in the National Enquirer or the Globe, But I don't know how you feel about it, Trav. You're almost a pilot, right? You've had some training.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I should be doing now with all my time off. We all have these goals, right? And of course, I'm down here. Now, it's not all work. For anyone that's related to my work or anything like that, of course, it's not all work. But I'm usually down here from 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So I haven't had time to actually go out and do that. But that is on my list. I would love to get back into it.
Go out and search for aliens yet?
No, I just want to be a pilot. I just want to be a Tom, our listener Tom.
Yeah.
No, it's on my list. But I read about it a little bit. I hate its cliched statement at this point, but the universe is a pretty big place, Mike.
I know it is, and
it's hard to believe that we'd be the only one, right?
I'm not so arrogant as to think we're the only life force in the universe. Like that to me is just like. No.
The most arrogant statement you could fucking make, in my opinion. But
it's very religious based, and I don't buy that. I think that doesn't make much sense. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I almost threw your name out there, Trav, but I didn't. You remember, Mark Pennington?
Yeah.
Program director from Riff. He just left there a couple weeks ago, and he was texting me during the draft because he knew I'm a Niners fan and stuff. But he's a pilot. He's got his own plane, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm launching this podcast on planes." And he's rigged up his plane with like 5 GoPro cameras, and he wants to take people up and have discussions about flying. And talk about life, whatever, up in the plane. And I'm like, and so he was like, yeah, who do you use to host your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's like, I got to take you up. And I'm like, yeah, once I'm back in Michigan, we go up. And I
if he needs an engineer. Yeah, if he needs an engineer.
Yeah, I was like,
I go on airplane rides.
I love this, but I can't. Travis is stretched so thin right now, but you actually might love dealing.
I'll figure that one out.
Yeah. But if you're serious, I'll put you in contact. He'd probably love to have your help.
I have some PTO banked.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he could help out. He's got, it looks like a beautiful plane, you know, Cessna or something. I'm not sure what it is, but he's going to be launching it. I don't know when exactly. He might have already, but Mark Pennington talking flying and taking people up in the plane to discuss it. And 5 GoPros in a small plane.
Oh, cool.
You're going to get some.
I definitely want to talk to him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The other person that owes us a flight here is Mr. Ryan. Next time he's in town.
Yeah.
You've been up in that airplane, haven't you? I haven't.
No.
Or Troy did. Troy and Christine.
Troy and Hat went up, yeah. But I haven't. I was supposed to, but I think I was out of town or in the hospital.
It is my favorite general aviation aircraft right now.
Really, his?
Yeah, his. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, it's got the parachute attached to it. So if you start going down, if he's a shit pilot, which he very well may be. I've never flown with Ryan, so I can't say if he's the worst pilot on earth. Somebody is. Somebody has to be. So he might be the worst pilot on earth. I don't know, because I haven't flown with him. But he's got at least that parachute there to, you know, if he decides to Kobe it into a mountain with us in it, at least he's got a chute that'll come out the back and just bring us nice down to earth.
I was going to say just lay there against the mountain.
Yeah, exactly. We just kind of slide down the mountain like skiing. Yeah. Be fine.
Sure.
Okay, let's see what's going on in the world. We got Hillary Clinton endorsed Joe Biden for president today.
A sexual assault, Joe Biden.
Yeah, well, what is Hillary going to say? I mean, she was basically condoning BJ's in the Oval Office with her husband.
Isn't that, dude? I hate to fucking be like you always hate to be this right. Sound like you're just on the right side, but dude,
You mean right wing?
Right wing, but there is like literally zero mention of the fact that Joe Biden has several very like big sexual assault claims on him right now, and it's just like, oh well, no big deal, move it along.
He introduced her as, you know, the woman who should be president.
No, he didn't.
And I'm like, well,
What do you mean?
no, she shouldn't, and no shot, and thank God for that. What do you mean she should be president? What, because you think so? She wasn't voted in. Sorry, pal. She wasn't. She talked about their family ties, their long work history together, you know, how we share common experiences, both have families from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I'm like, who gives a shit?
Does that have to do with anything?
Why does that matter? He's my friend. So what? What does that have to do with the thing? I don't understand it. You know, my family grew up on Diamond Avenue and his family was on North Washington Street. So what does that mean?
That's even worse in my mind, because it just, why do people that close? Why did people growing up that close? What a shock that, as Jay used to say, like, you know, oh, Bush and George, you know, George Sr. and George H. or whatever. But the point is, why would those two people that grow up that close together, how shocking that they would happen to be presidential candidates? Why aren't they further apart?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And this story of Tara Reid, not the chick from American Pie, is just sitting there. It's just hovering there. And I know what you mean, E. It's like to go, hey, that's a little weird. Boy, that story sounds like it's got some legs. To say that means that you support the right. Like if you're not supporting Joe Biden 100%, going, oh, that's bullshit. But it's like, no, I don't want to look like that. But I got to tell you, man, the claims and the people coming out and going, yeah, we remember that happening. We remember her talking about it, are pretty damning, overwhelmingly damning. And I'll be honest with you.
Believe all women again. Why aren't we believing all women? Forget it if it turns out nothing happened. Why are we not digging in if we believe all women? I guess that doesn't matter.
Well, no, hashtag me too. And that's the problem we're dealing with in this country is like people are getting blasted for, all of a sudden, hashtag me too, not so serious. They're being mocked. Reporters and pundits on the right are mocking the left, like, oh, gee, this was the biggest issue on planet Earth for you when it was Brett Kavanaugh, but now no one seems to want to talk about it. CNN doesn't want to talk about it. MSN doesn't want to talk about it. And just to go over the details again, and I'm not saying she didn't bring this on herself. She wasn't begging for it. She was wearing a mini skirt and no pantyhose. So,
That's true.
Take that for what it's worth. She could have been begging for it. I don't know. All I know is the personal story we've told before about Joe Biden, where he asked the lawyer that Jay knows if she would like to come suck his cock in the broom closet. Now, I will say I wasn't there. I didn't hear him say that. For all I know, that's a bullshit story. I know the person that told me is very credible, and he vouches for the big shot attorney female that told him that story and knows her personally. That holds a little bit of weight and credibility with me. Now, did he walk into her office and, he said, how's the Miller versus, Delaware case coming? You wrap up those depositions. And she says, boy, I'll get to that in a minute, but I'd love to suck your cock in the broom closet. And he said, you want to suck my cock in the broom closet? That's acceptable. That's an acceptable response. But if he walked into her office and she said, hey, I've been working on the Miller case. The depositions are wrapped up, sir. Anyway.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. What about this cock?
This cock ain't going to suck itself in the broom closet. It depends. I wasn't there, but, he's always struck us as odd, weird, touchy-feely. We've talked about it before. And the details, you hear some of them with high-powered people where it's like they say things to women like, do you have to have a kid right now? We're in the middle of this case, and probably not going to look good for your career if you have this child. It's like, how dare you? And women have taken a lot of abuse over the years with things like that. And you hear crass things. Boys will be boys, the boys club, the talk that guys will have and women are subject to that's degrading. You can call it locker room talk or boys will be boys. Inappropriate at work goes on in every workplace. We know that. But yet, and I'm as guilty as anyone. I mean, I know it's against the law, but I stopped fucking hiring female interns because our room at the Drew and Mike show was the last, and people told them, like, look, this is not a normal work environment. You're going to hear and see shit that you shouldn't be forced to see or hear, but that's the reality of where we worked and what we did and what we do here. Makes it hard. Pay attention. I can see you on your fucking phone.
I'm paying attention. I pay attention. I can multitask.
But at no point have I just walked up and fingered a girl or grabbed her titties at work or just stuck my tongue in her mouth. And that's the disturbing thing with this Biden accusation. It's very detailed about how, he pushed me up. She was bringing him a gym workout bag and she's asked to deliver it to him and he stops her in a corridor, pushes her up against a wall. It just jams his hand up her skirt and penetrates her with his fingers, right, according to her, allegedly. I wasn't there. None of us were. Seems like a weird thing to say. And then she pulls back, annoyed, and she apparently was kind of fawning over the senator. She respected him so much. This is probably where his disconnect came. Like, yeah, she wanted it. I heard she fucking, she was.
I thought you liked me.
She was apparently really in and really respected the Senator Joe Biden. And so, he was like, I thought you liked me. When she pulled back, he's like, come on, man. I heard you liked me. He was married to Jill at the time, who he's married to now, his second wife. And, come on, man is key. No one talks about that. But that's what Joe Biden would say. Joe Biden would say, come on, man, to a chick. That's how I hear him talk. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he said to a girl, come on, man, I thought you were into me. He implied that I had done this. And then he said, you're nothing to me. He said nothing. And so, now there are calls for Biden to personally address this. I don't know if he will. It might get that the calls become so strong that he has to address this. I don't know. He's
going to challenge people to push-up contests if it does again, or
right. Yeah, and I wouldn't have so much of a problem with this story if it wasn't so the other side so came down on Brett Kavanaugh and believe all women, like you keep pointing out, hashtag believe all women. All women need to believe. And Biden's camp has said that. all women need to be listened to, and reporters need to vet them, and they need to be believed. Not in this case, not this time. This has never happened.
I'm not going to go on the whole thing of what I did in the end. And I don't usually go on my Facebook, and make like, I don't do anything political. I don't care. I don't, what's the point of fighting with people? What's the point of making statements? It's not worth it. But I don't know what it is. And we've both been mad at this for a long time, but for some reason yesterday, I finally on this walk I was on, got so in my head about wanting to make a post about the hypocrisy.
You know what? Hold on, E. I'm going to bring that up in a minute. I'm going to bring it up. I read that post, and I'm a couple stories away from introducing it.
Okay.
So, yeah. I thought it was really well done, by the way, the one you did.
Thank you.
But there are very striking, glaring differences between Joe Biden's sexual assault case that we're seeing now with Tara Reade coming forward. She came forward a while ago, by the way, and the one with Christine Blasey Ford as the accused. And, I didn't know what to believe with Christine Blasey Ford. I still don't. All I know for sure was that it was 30 years prior. She didn't tell anybody at the time. She, apparently that came out of her in one of those therapy sessions where they were doing the memory recall shit. It wasn't even a memory she had like top of mind. It kind of came to her, which is a little suspect. I'm not saying that some people don't get some great stuff out of those therapy sessions, but for what it's worth, this girl, Tara Reade, is pissed. She's getting blasted because people are seeing pictures of her now going, ugh, just look at her defense. And she's like, I could take the beating and this and that. It's 30 years ago. And so she posted a picture of her in 93, 94.
Yeah.
She's very cute. We all age and we don't all look dynamite. I mean, Bill Cosby, that dude is horrified by the string of women that are coming forward now, 50 years after the fact, going, that's not the one I attacked. He was attacking models and supermodels at the time. But 50 years, does something to a person. So this woman, Tara Reade, is blasting Hillary for coming out, kind of enabling. I voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. I voted for her in the primary. I'm a lifelong Democrat, but yet what I see now is someone enabling a sexual predator, and it was my former boss, Joe Biden, who raped me. Hillary Clinton has a history of enabling powerful men to cover up their sexual predatory behaviors and their inappropriate sexual misconduct. We don't need that for this country. We don't need that for our generation coming up. Institution will not be smeared, dismissed, or ignored. I stand in truth, and I will keep speaking out. And then, with Christine Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh, Brett denied it just like Joe Biden is, but she named a few people that were at this party, all her friends, not his. Well, one was that Mark whatever guy was his friend. All of them said, I have no idea what she's talking about. None. That's something that would stick with you. You would know Brett Kavanaugh if you went to Yale or Harvard, wherever he went. Was it Yale or Harvard? One of the two.
I don't remember.
If you were there with him and this story was true and you followed his career as it's exploding, you would remember having that discussion with her. You just would. That's something where this is someone going places, and you would have in your back pocket this really weird, horrible story. And then the other people that started coming out of the woodwork, oh yeah, he was part of gang rapes every weekend. I mean, those things fell apart so fast, and all we heard was, believe all women are to be believed. I stand, and Joe Biden's one of them. I stand with Christine Blasey Ford. Her story just makes sense. Well, if her story makes sense, then so the hell does Tara Reade's story. And I'm sorry, Christine Blasey Ford had zero people come into her defense backing it up. Zero. This Biden story, there have been major developments of people coming out. Larry King Live clip that airs. There's no way you would plan this for 27 years to have stashed this hidden Easter egg of information where her mom calls and brings up this inappropriate, incident that happened with her daughter working for a prominent senator. Happens, Los Palmas, California, living in the same city that her mom did. She said it was her mom forever ago that made this call to Larry King Live, wondering what her daughter should do without going to the press. She respected this man too much, didn't want to go to the press. And now, Monday, two more people, a former neighbor and a former colleague of Reade's, came forward to back her claims after conversations they had back in the 90s. Reade is now calling on the University of Delaware to unseal documents it has from Biden's tenure as a senator, which she believes may include her formal sexual harassment complaint. So she's claiming I made a sexual harassment complaint at the time. I'm calling for the release of the documents being held by the University of Delaware that contain his staff personal records, because I believe it will have my complaint form as well as my separation letter and other documents. Maybe if other staffers that have tried to file complaints would come to light, why are they under, then maybe other staffers would come to light as well. Why are they under seal, and why won't they be released to the public? And then I was reading Michelle Goldberg. She's a New York Times writer, MSNBC chick, who went hardcore after, she was trying to defend Biden at first. Now she's having a little bit of trouble doing that.
Oh boy.
Brett Kavanaugh was a monster to her way. She's appears to be taking the allegations now made against Biden a little more seriously after writing a piece that threw heavy skepticism, which I think is fair to throw heavy skepticism at these stories. Just do it on both sides. That's all. That's all. Because I don't believe for a second all you people care about women and believe all women. I think that's bullshit. It was a politically motivated trucking. That's what it was, period. And so if that's the rules you're going to establish, and I have to watch all these egomaniac asshole politicians at the podium every day going, I stand with all women. Well, you guys are just as guilty as anybody. You guys are the most egotistical fucking freaks. You got time after time after time we see examples of outrageous shit they get away with. And it's a lot of it is, they have a lot of power and pull, and humans abuse that. And the guy working at the local hardware shop, he might say some inappropriate shit from time to time around people, but odds are he doesn't have enough pull and capital to be an outright pig all the time. Like a lot of these high-powered, celebrities do, like these high-powered political figures do. That's why it rings true for a lot of them, in my opinion. So she says now that two more people, Linda LaCase is the one, former next-door neighbor, self-described supporter of Biden, spoke on the record with Rich McHugh of Business Insider about conversations she had with Reade. Another acquaintance, Lorraine Sanchez, former colleague, also recalled past conversations about the sexual harassment. The reporting appeared to take Goldberg by surprise because she didn't believe all women in the beginning. She didn't believe that Tara Reade could be telling the truth. Michelle, liberal writer, says, this is the most persuasive corroborating evidence that has come out so far. What a nightmare is what she tweeted. Goldberg didn't seem to believe it was a nightmare when she authored a piece April 13th titled, What to Do with Tara Reade's Allegation Against Joe Biden. Its subheadline read, a sexual assault accusation against the presumptive Democratic nominee is being used to troll the Me Too movement. Well, you brought that on yourself, sweetheart. Sorry, you did.
Right.
She began the piece asserting it's easier to know what to do with Reade's allegations, that they were more solid or less solid. Since Reade made her latest accusation, people on both the left and the right have been demanding, with a mix of genuine outrage and gotcha glee, and the right is definitely having some gotcha glee here, no doubt about it, that the Democratic Party live up to their Me Too commitments and hashtag believe Tara Reade. Goldberg's also an MSN contributor, acknowledged that Biden was a weak candidate and wouldn't be unhappy. Don't you guys think that holds a lot of weight, that all the people involved that we're talking about that are corroborating this evidence are lifelong Democrats, voted for Hillary Clinton, and the one that lived across the street is still voting for Joe Biden. That's how much she hates Trump. She believes this is true, and she's still voting for Joe Biden, regardless.
Vote blue, nobody who, no matter who.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I hate that.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the problem that we all had with Christine Blasey Ford right out of the gate, where there were small things, inconsistencies, because I get the feeling this Michelle Goldberg is going, well, Christine Blasey Ford's testimony was unbelievably compelling and believable. I don't know that it was. Her claiming to have two front doors. Remember that? She had two.
Yes.
On her house. and she claimed under oath that was PTSD. She was claustrophobic and had PTSD. So when they remodeled, they had 2 doors installed. Well, that's not necessarily true. First off, they couldn't really see the 2 doors, but it turned out that there was an office space, and this therapist that she was talking to owned this house before them, and they had it kind of as a separate office. So it had its own door and entrance, and she was renting that place out or letting live there Google employees. There was a Google facility nearby in California, and Google employees, the kids, were able to stay there, blah, blah, blah. And it's against zoning laws to have this duplex set up the way she did. So she wasn't able, it was against the law to be renting this out as a separate living space, which is exactly what it was. So she came up with the, in my opinion, horseshit story of, I was so claustrophobic, we had to put 2 doors on so I could, escape your own house faster? Remember, Trav, you remember this, and E, she couldn't fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but, she could fly. We found out she had a boyfriend that was a pilot, was flying to Hawaii all the time, flying everywhere. She was flown into Washington for these, Senate hearings, and all kinds of things. Like, all of that kind of stuff was just like, I don't know. And she says, this chick ends that Michelle Goldberg, I shouldn't call her a chick. Personally, I'm just left with doubt about Biden and doubt about the charges against him. But one thing I have little doubt about is the bad faith of those using this strange, sad story to hector feminists into pretending they certainly, they have no reason to feel. No. You did not offer a modicum of that same shred of doubt when it came to Brett Kavanaugh. That's what people have a problem with. That's it. There was no doubt. There was 100% he is guilty. He's a pig. He's a white male with privilege who came from money and blah, 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 prominent family, went to Yale, all that kind of stuff. There was no presumption of innocence. That was what was so insulting to most of us. Am I correct?
Hypocrisy,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
One word.
Biden himself has not addressed this, but his campaign manager, I love that. We mentioned it yesterday. Kate Bedingfield said, what is clear about this claim is that it is untrue. This absolutely did not happen. Well,
that's what's clear about it?
Yeah. One thing I can absolutely say to Kate is, how the fuck do you know that? You would have zero. It makes you sound less credible when you can say, the one thing we know for sure, this is untrue. This did not happen. You have no clue.
What are the things you don't know then? I don't understand what that even means. Like, so she doesn't know about you know what I mean? That's the only thing she knows, that it's not true. I don't even know what that means. I do, but
yeah, it's untrue. The claim that Tara Reid is making against Biden is the only thing that's clear. The only thing. And I think if the only thing that's clear would mean that we would all see it as clear. But no.
Right.
You weren't there, Kate. You're best to stay the fuck out of this discussion. Sit back, get off your high horse. I get it. You love Joe Biden. Got it. He looks kind of creepy, and he looks like he's got dementia to most of us. But
I'm more offended that Joe Biden is even the front runner for the Democrats. 4 years, and this is what they have. Joe Biden. I don't understand. And by the way, I love when I heard this. People saying, oh, look at this, proves America's sexist. We couldn't bring in Pocahontas as the. It's like, dude, you're talking about the Democratic primaries. The Democrats were the ones voting. Then why didn't they vote for her? What are they talking about? That this proved that we're sexist as Republicans.
Yeah,
or not us, but I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's very interesting, and it's like, this whole diversity. Well, oh, we're so diverse. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got a black fucking mayor here that's running in a.
They had a gay person, an Asian, a woman. All these people started off, and what do they end up with? An 80-year-old or whatever white dude who doesn't know what room he's fucking in. Like,
and another 80-year-old white man that's crazy as shit.
Right, like, dude, he doesn't know where he is half the time.
By the end, I think it was just 4 white dudes. And then it was whittled down to the 2 oldest white dudes who have been in Congress and Senate longer than any of the other ones probably combined.
The party of progression, Mike. The new.
So diverse. Well, I guess they're diverse in that they've got senior citizens. If that counts as diversity, they've got senior citizens, one with a bad heart and one, to your well thought out point, that doesn't know what fucking room he's in 90% of the time.
I mean, at least they let the gay and the Asian pretend they were going to be the nominee for a little bit. I mean, I guess that's something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure. We'll appease these ladies. Let them think they've got a shot here. They didn't impress enough to fucking grab the Democratic vote. Sorry. And Joe Biden slipped through the cracks. Slipped through. They did not want Joe Biden there. And now they're dealing with this fucking moron who looks honestly like he doesn't know what room he's in.
I would love to have a person who's going to vote for. Look, I don't care if you don't want to vote for Trump. I can understand why people wouldn't want to vote for Trump.
Sure.
But I want someone to tell me that's excited about Joe Biden being the president, why that is. What is he doing?
They are excited for there's a couple things. They're excited for whoever the VP nom is. That will get them excited. If there's it'll be a female for sure. Don't know what color that.
Michelle Obama.
Yeah, there you go.
He deserves it.
Could Barack run as his VP? That's a winning formula right there. If he runs as VP,
get the band back together.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. He'll definitely have a woman. There's that, and then there's a whole contingency of people who just want this to stop. No matter what, they're just tired of the fighting and the bitching. Everybody who doesn't like Trump hates him 100% of the time. They hate the divisive nature of the country right now. And so those people, even though they like Trump or suspect Trump is probably best policy-wise, more leaning towards what they believe, there's going to be a percentage of people like Jay.
Just like, I'm done. I get it. Tap out.
I got to go back to where these guys are just dorks and in the background. They're just let them just continue to rape the system like they've done and fill their own pockets in the background. I don't need this dominating every moment of every day. We understand that they're greedy, slimy assholes. Let them do it in the background, not front and center anymore.
You know what's funny about that, dude? I swear to God, I went through like a phases of it. And like, I got to a point about a year ago where I even thought, even though I liked him, I thought, maybe it would just be better if we just went back to the fucking thing. But then it ramped up so much more as the end of the year was going and into even coronavirus, where I'm like, no, fuck them. Put them back in there. Fuck these guys. Like,
yeah.
I have to.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the problem that I see right now.
And it's their fault, not mine. I was ready to be like, let's move on maybe, but.
Yeah, and nothing against the hardcore right voter. Your vote obviously counts, but it's the flyover states, it's the moderates that tend to swing either way that will decide a lot of these close elections that we're probably going to have again. And the moderates are getting pissed. They're tired of being told how to think. They're tired of being told how to vote. They're tired of being called names. And I know we're getting into E's sort of thing here, so I'll put the brakes on here in a second. But they're tired of thinking like that. So they're like, yeah, you know what? Screw it. Let's have Trump 4 more years. You know what? Because 100%. I'm tired of you telling me to think how I have to think and making decisions for me. That's my big issue with it.
Well, what you won't see is too many on the right. Sorry, liberals, and maybe it's just because your guy's not in office right now. You won't get many people jumping down your throat about a statement or thought you have on social media. You won't get shamed if you're a Democrat, if you're on the left. You're not really going to get shamed about things, but if you openly admit you're a Trump supporter, you risk getting your ass kicked in public.
Right.
Like now you can point to the weird case somewhere in some hick town where, of course there's isolated incidents of trouble and who knows what's manufactured by the media and played up by the media and spun. We've seen that countless times. I get that. But you're not going to get that same absolute in-your-face fuck you attitude like you do. I get it all the time from liberals. Liberals write me, or if I get into a discussion with someone where I'm just like, yeah, you know what, let's just let it go. I don't care. I don't care. They want to go to the woodshed with this. And that part is very frustrating, but I think this holds a lot of weight when you're talking about the Biden case. Should he be able to be president? it's the hypocrisy that drives people nuts. That's all. I'm
told,
and I was there. I don't know the context of things. Joe creeps me out a little bit. He's probably harmless old man at this point. But if you're going to pretend that you give a shit about all women and believe all women, then it applies every time. You don't get to pick and choose which women you stand by. And
dude, I've told. Oh, sorry.
For this LaCase, who's voting for Joe Biden still, she told Business Insider, I remember her saying, here was this person that she was working for, and she idolized him. And he kind of put her up against the wall, put his hand up her skirt, put his fingers inside her. She felt like she was assaulted, and she didn't feel there was anything she could do. Reed was upset when she told her about the allegation, and the more she talked about it, the more she started crying. She remembered urging Reed to file a police report, but did not recall the specific details from the incident. I don't remember all the details. I remember the skirt. I remember the fingers. I remember she was devastated. That seems like the points you would remember.
Right.
I don't remember if it was on a Wednesday. I don't remember if we were out to lunch, but you'd remember the skirt, the fingers, and the devastation. So she recalled how the two of them had talked about violent stories. These are two women who are neighbors and are talking to each other about violent experiences they've had at the hands of men. And she said that, each of them had experienced. And that's when Reed told her about the senator she worked with who put his hands up her skirt. And then she goes on to say, I personally am a Democrat, a very strong Democrat. I'm for Biden regardless, but still I have to come out and say this. And then Reed is very thankful for both of these people. She volunteered to come forward. If this was me, I would want somebody, the former neighbor, said that she personally volunteered to come forward. No one asked her to, no one made her. If this was me, I would want someone to stand up for me. It takes a lot of guts to do what she's doing. I have to support her just because that's what happened. We need to stand up and tell the truth. That to me does not sound anything like the Brett Kavanaugh story.
No.
Was involved.
It's not at all what you were hearing.
Now, moving on to other things, and we'll get into some of the disdain, but mentioning your Facebook post, I was like, a lot of times you'll start, you always,
I know.
By saying like, I know most of you aren't going to read this, and most of you don't care, and blah, blah, you always shit on your thing before. But
I'm not stupid enough to know what social media is, and I hate the fact, because even me typing it, I know that, like, who the fuck am I? I have a little people that care because we do this podcast, but so maybe I shouldn't put them in there, but on the same hand, I hate people thinking that I think I'm very important and that everyone's going to see what I have to say. So that's why I do it.
I think your track record speaks for itself. You are, you toe the same line always. You don't like having arguments with people. You don't like fighting with people. Just learn to fly. And I read your thing, and usually I read your posts, and it's so filled with grammatical errors and spelling errors, and I'm like, ugh. You're making it so that the point is completely lost, and now I'm just like a middle school teacher with a red pen checking all the mistakes. But I got to tell you, man, I was very, very impressed, E.
Well, I sent it to somebody, to be honest with you, but...
Did you?
Yeah.
I knew there had to be something like that because it was way too well... The spelling was proper. I'm not saying it was 100%. I don't know. I didn't read it closely. But it stuck out to me that E wrote this, and it's really well said.
I'll tell you for one, this, not that it's anything new to you, but this is something that's been literally on my mind probably for 2 years, and I don't know what it was, but like yesterday morning I was on this walk, and for some reason it just started getting in my head more, and I finally decided I wanted to write something, and whatever, for whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever it's worth, for whatever it does, which is probably nothing, but it is what it is.
Well, the gist of your post was that you're sick and tired of... Well, go ahead. I'll let you explain part of your post. What was your
it was just basically, it was hypocrisy. I'll tell you this, by the way. When you're talking about how we're worried to say, let anybody know that maybe you voted for Trump, for the progressive side, the all-inclusive side, all these, I know a lot of them, but all these freaking open mic comics in Michigan think that because they've gotten paid a few times to do comedy, or they do comedy and have not got paid, by the way, they've decided they're political freaking they're political professionals. And honestly, when you talk about this, the so progressive, if I came out and said some of my my feelings on how I think about the world, I would be blacklisted from comedy, which is absurd because I'm talking about empty bars on a Wednesday night. But that's how they feel. They've decided that because of Facebook, they have a voice. And I'll tell you that mostly in reality, this post was based on that feeling. A post of just so sick of people fighting back, hate with hate, bullying the bullies. So it was just really saying, like, dude, bullying is bullying, period. It doesn't matter if you're doing to someone that you think is stupid. Talk to them. Have a conversation. Try to change their mind. What are you doing the same thing? And if you do that, you're no better than them, dude. You're the same as the people you hate, period.
Yeah, your point about bullying rings so true. I don't bother, not because I'm afraid to take the attacks. I've done it on Twitter. I've gotten into vicious Twitter wars with social justice warriors and shit. They're usually not listeners of this show. They don't even live in this state. I tweeted something out. It gets shared a couple times. It hits someone who is sensitive to it. And I've gone dark and gotten into battles with people. And there's no point. You're never going to win. You're never going to win those. And so I stopped, for the most part, making political statements at all on social media. It's because I don't give a shit what Bill and Livonia thinks. I just don't. I know that my opinion is mine. We do this show, and I think we do a fairly decent job of just going, look, man, I've seen this story. I understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me that there's a story and one half of the population thinks it's 100% this and the other half thinks it's 100% that. I just disagree with that thought. Like, dude, have some thought of your own. Look equally at Brett Kavanaugh versus Tara Reade, and you tell me where the outrage is. Doesn't it bother you that that's not discussed on multiple media outlets? Majority media outlets are pretending this girl doesn't exist.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see any of these people that I really was directing this at. I don't see any of them posting, why do we have a Democratic nominee that has sexual assault? None of them. And I don't even care. It doesn't make me mad per se. But like you said about the Kavanaugh stuff earlier, do it with both. That's all I want. Yeah, that's what I want.
There was where's the guy from? Like, shit, I don't remember. But he got charges levied. Like, some chick came out and was saying that he was fucking her when she was 15 or something. The cowboy guy.
Oh yeah, I don't know exactly.
Nobody gave a shit about that story. Nobody cared. He just happened to be on the right political side. So he didn't get attacked. The guy, Justin Trudeau can go blackface. I don't know. He's done more blackface Halloween costumes than anybody on planet Earth. He loves being in blackface. But that's completely because it's on the side of the political argument about where people go ape shit over. That's the. It's incensing, and the reason I brought up your article, E, was because I was reading the story on Bryan Cranston, who can't shut his mouth of late. And I love Bryan Cranston. I think he was a great actor in Malcolm in the Middle.
He's great so good. Yeah.
He's amazing as Walter White on Breaking Bad. Me and G are watching that again right now. He's fantastic. But the guy I just don't understand how these people don't see what they're doing to the rest of the country when they come out with just blanket statements of just bullying, hatred, shit, vile shit. He comes out, taking to social media, of course, like what's Bryan Cranston think of the world today or the political leaders in the country? Bryan, go do your next movie, make your next $20 million and shut the fuck up. People don't, I know you have every right to say what you want, but I have every right to say what I think of your thoughts, and when you don't even leave the door open for the possibility that you can be wrong, I say on this show, our opinions mean less than nothing. They're my opinions, they're E's opinions, they're Trav's opinions, or Troy's, or Jay's, or anyone else on the show. We won't tell you how to think. We'll give you our opinions. If you want to listen to them, great. If you want to say we're crazy, great. We are at least smart enough to know that we're dumb enough not to be, I know everything, and you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Bryan Cranston hasn't learned that lesson. He is so famous and so wealthy that he thinks he's figured everything out. I've stopped worrying about the president's sanity. He's not sane. Really? Really, doctor? Really, Dr. Cranston, do you know that he's not sane?
Again,
he seems way more sane than Biden does to me.
Right. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Right.
And the realization of his illness doesn't fill me with anger, but with profound sadness. What I now worry about is the sanity of anyone who can still support this deeply troubled man to lead our country. Really?
I don't even honestly, and I'm trying to look at it, dude, again, I'm trying to be objective. I don't know what he is talking about based on what I've seen. And I'm not trying to, right.
And when you say, Mr. Cranston, with all due respect, that you're not angry, but you're filled with profound sadness, you are fucking furious, you lying son of a bitch. You are not filled with profound sadness. You are not sad about the state of the country. You are enraged, and you prove it time and again when you write a book, when you tweet, when you Facebook post, when you can't shut the fuck up about how vile and insane this president is and how insane anyone else is. That's not spoken like someone who's sad about the current state of politics in America. You know, we said in the beginning, if you guys remember, when Trump won the presidency, it was like, calm down. Just wait till your entire world explodes. Now, it's actually coming true with coronavirus. So
I know, I've thought about that, but
to blame Trump for that is asinine. You go ahead, they'll find a way to do it. It's all Trump's fault. I get it. But for the most part, how has your day-to-day changed?
Remember
the last month. I get it. Coronavirus has exploded. It's the same all over the globe. This is not exclusive to Michigan or Arizona or China or the US. It's everywhere. And nobody could have seen it coming. You know, people love to point out, I mentioned it 3 years ago. Yeah, well, we hadn't seen it since 1918. Really? We're all supposed to react to something that we're told all the time about this virus and that virus, and it usually just fizzles. It just fizzles. It's a bad flu. This one you guys took a lot more seriously, but, to Cranston, people are immediately come out at him for the hypocrisy. Trump supporters, of course, not impressed with his commentary.
Right.
You're a huge talent, but not in this area, it seems. The dude is definitely different, but smarter than most of us, with a great sense of what needs to be done and zero PC. Nanette Woods tweeted, so let me get this straight. You actually think President Trump is not sane, but Joe Biden is? Oh my God. Biden is a hapless, helpless nutter who should not be running for anything except a memory care ward at an assisted living facility. And you think I'm not sane? Former federal prosecutor and Wall Street insider Anthony Acetta said, who do you think you are? Another half-assed actor with no insight, just hatred, bias, and the need for publicity. You are irrelevant and you're not contributing anything of value. And truer words have never been said. You are contributing nothing of if your daily role is to just shit on this president and presidency, no matter what, you're not helping. You're just
bullying is bullying. Name calling is name calling. I know it's ridiculous that I'm reading what I said yesterday, but it's a fact. Two wrongs don't make a right. Be a better human being and do something to help. What is that helping? Why don't you use your celebrity? Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to reach out to Trump and go, hey, Trump, I think Brian Cranston here, I think you might have some mental issues. But use your celebrity your money to help feed some people in your area, or help, get tests, whatever it is. What is that doing? What is your tweet going to do? Nothing.
Look what happens when people do that. They are trashed without mercy, whether it's Kanye West. Look at the hatred that was thrown at Kanye West. An original, he's OG, man. And he's got all the credit in the world, yet he was shit on he was mocked without mercy. His wife, who I give a lot of credit for, Kim Kardashian, to me, was a fat ass, stupid model who made $1 billion shaking her fat ass for the world. And she has since stopped doing that, turned things around, is going to law school, saw the impact her life could have by meeting with Trump, trying to keep things civil and trying to get some actual things done as far as justice and prison reform, and started seeing the progress she was making, the headway she was making. It was like, yeah, there you go. That's it. He's dying to get shit done. So she was able to go in there and actually make some positive. It's not just about showing her ass crack on Instagram, you know? And
right.
So to see that, it's like, why don't other people take that cue? Why doesn't Bryan Cranston swallow his pride and go, there's got to be a human being in there somewhere. I have enough pull to do something. Little guy in middle America does not have the ability to go to the White House or call the president or get cameras in front of him every time he walks out of the house and is able to make headway on a political issue that he's having. Bryan Cranston has that ability, yet he would instead rather go on Twitter or Instagram and basically say, hey, 50% of the country, I personally, me, Bryan Cranston, actor, I'm a thespian. I personally am worried about your sanity if you're voting for him. Well, the reason I voted for President Trump was pretty simple. I thought Hillary Clinton was a fucking beast of a human being. I thought she was arguably one of the worst women on planet Earth. Sorry, I've read up on Hillary Clinton for 20 fucking plus years. I've never read anything positive. Her Clinton Foundation was a scam that shut off the instant she wasn't president and didn't have pull to take advantage of her position and get handouts that enriched herself. Nice job, E.
Thank you.
That Clinton Foundation, which was globally saving everybody, that shit folded before Trump took office. The second she lost the presidency, everyone went, well, can't be of any help to me anymore. See you later, bitch.
Right.
You know, and now to one of your guys' earlier points, I could see myself voting for Trump this time just to tell Bryan Cranston to suck dicks. Like, seriously, like,
right.
No, you're not going to tell me how to feel. Just like you've got a right to your opinion, so do I. But the only time I'm going to come after Bryan Cranston and go, shut up, asshole, and call him an asshole is when he's calling me insane. You know, I didn't start it. And you're right, E. There's nothing more than bullying going on with his tweet. What is the point, Brian? Do you really need to go out on your front porch and go, hey, everybody, can I have your attention, please, for a moment? Anyone who would vote for this clearly insane person must be insane themselves. Have a good night. And then goes back into his multi-million-dollar crib and chills out for his probably much younger wife.
Well, the worst part is, like we said, you know, sorry, is that I think it's counterproductive because it just entrenches people. It you know, no one wants to be told how to think. They're going to figure it out on their own. Let it, you know, I know a lot of people don't think Trump supporters are smart people. We're all smart people in this world in different degrees. And well, most of us are. And let us figure it out for ourselves. You know, stop telling us how to think,
how to feel, how to think. And the fact is, Travis, you're one of the smartest guys I know. I've seen you work. I know you personally. You're very generous, kind.
Oh, because I'm undecided this fall. I'm an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, and to say that, I honestly, it's because we've got a Republican in office and I'm watching everyone shit all over him that it makes it look like I'm more of a right-wing guy than I really truly am. I am really more of an independent. I don't give a shit what side you're on. I think you're all the same. You're all the same greedy, power-hungry assholes. You're no different. So, you know, you like to vote on personality people. It's why you can vote against. I can vote against Hillary Clinton because I think she's a rotten person. I truly believe that she's not a good person. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to reward her with my vote. It was not because I'm sexist or I have anything against lesbians. It has nothing to do with that stuff. I just thought she was an evil fucking person who's shown that time and time again. Right. Sorry, that's not good enough for you. Then fucking run someone more popular. Run someone who doesn't sound like a robot. You know, remember, Monica Lewinsky, I've said it before, I feel more terrible from the early part of my career where it was just funny to just shred this 21-year-old intern. If I were that Lewinsky, I would do was almost beg forgiveness, apologize for some of the horrible shit we did. We called her, got her on the phone, got Linda Tripp on the phone, got the other one on the phone, like harassment and constant conversations, tearing this woman's world apart for something. She blew a president as a 21-year-old child, basically. And to this day, Hillary Clinton asked less than a year ago, do you think, you know, anyone owes an apology? Do you think Bill owes an apology for the way that she was treated? No, I don't. She was an adult. really, Hillary, you can't even have a little bit of empathy and go, what that woman went through because she fell into the Bill Clinton trap. Oh yeah, man, I can bang any chick I want. He did fuck everything that moved. Lots of women fell into the trap of Bill Clinton, most powerful man on planet Earth. It's not surprising that a kind of homely 21-year-old intern would fall for him and think, wow, the most powerful man on the planet. And all these years later, you can't go, you know what? To be honest with you, yeah, she was really dealt a rough set of cards there. It was not fair what political pundits did to her. It was not fair that we didn't come to her defense. My husband was way more at fault than her. He was in the power position. I would gain so much respect for her if she just came out and went, you know what? Hindsight's 2020. We all grow as people. And what happened to Monica Lewinsky is tragic. It's a miracle that woman didn't kill herself. And I am deeply sorry. Thought a lot about it. Bill was 100% in the wrong, took advantage of his power position. But no, she stands up. She was a grown woman. There's nothing to be sorry for. Screw you, Hillary. That's everything I need to know about you.
You know what's funny, Mike? This is off the subject, but when you talk about the idea of growing up and how we all grow up and change our views on things, The Last Dance this Sunday, they did a lot of the bad boy stuff. And Michael Jordan and the whole walk-off or the Pistons, walk off the court after the Bulls finally beating them. It's big blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Michael Jordan, they say, would you like to watch Isaiah's response to, this now? No, I don't want to watch it, blah, 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 blah. He watches it.
He's an asshole.
And, it's still an asshole. And here's my point. Like, you know what hit me and my dad? We were talking about this. Like, basically Michael Jordan's response was, because he said, oh, well, yeah, of course, now he might, looking back now, he might have changed his opinion. Oh, you mean like humans do, Michael? Like, he was just like basically saying that, because 30 years later, he might have rethought an opinion and said, yeah, you know what? If I'd known what I know now, I might not have done it. And his thought was, doesn't matter, still an asshole. It's like, yeah. So you're basically saying it's not okay to grow as a person and change your opinion on something you did earlier in life.
Can you imagine if we all held dear whatever idiotic thought we had 30 years ago? Can you imagine if every all the behaviors we took or stances we took 30 years ago we'd still do today? You'd be a pretty pathetic individual if you haven't grown enough to go, yeah, that was pretty stupid when I wanted to vote for so-and-so because I thought he was cool. I would have voted for Ross Perot. I wanted to vote for Ross Perot. Ask me why I wanted to vote for Ross Perot.
Got the charts.
No fucking clue why I wanted to vote for Ross Perot. It was the cool hippie thing to do. But I don't stand by that decision today.
Right. And Jordan basically just, in my opinion, was just like, yeah, of course, now he might say, looking back on it, it's like, dude, And another thing that got out of that, by the way.
He might have had that opinion, by the way, Isaiah Thomas, if you would have asked him 24 hours after they did that,
he might have been like,
calmed down enough to go, probably a little unprofessional. Probably should have just done the honorable thing and, not been a sore loser. We've beaten them twice. They've been in this position. The professional thing to do would be shake their hands and be a good winner or good loser. He probably would have said that 24 hours later, not 30 years later. I know.
Another thing I got out of that, by the way, and I'm I understand how people get to where they are. I understand the person that's going to be a Michael Jordan, the drive that takes, the ego it takes even too, and the work ethic, all that shit. But another thing I got out of it to me is Michael Jordan he didn't hate the Pistons because they beat him up. He hated the Pistons because he was supposed to be next, and how dare somebody else stop him for 2 years of getting that, you know what I mean? Reaching that. It was supposed to go Magic, Bird, me, period. And the Pistons stopped it, and he didn't like it.
But you know what? I kind of like Michigan fans fucking hate Ohio State fans, and vice versa. I liked the Pistons rivalry with the Bulls. It was fun for a couple of years when you're kicking their ass, and then when they beat you, and he got a little bump in the road there with the Pistons, with the bad boy squads for a couple of years. But then he ran on a championship run, and he's got his legacy. He's the greatest that ever played. He is, in my opinion.
I know, but my point is just like I think that he wasn't really Mr. They didn't shake our hands, this blah blah blah, show some character. I don't think he was mad of anything other than he was supposed to be next, and how dare this team. And by the way, it makes you realize if that team didn't go back to back, thank God they went back to back. Because if they just won one, they would have been swept away in history. But the fact that they at least went back to back makes them have to be talked about.
It's kind of like the Fab Five in that they had a persona that was against the grain, that was against the league. It was the bad boys, the Fab Five, something that hadn't been done. And, you know, when I was watching it with G, and G said, you know, the only thing that sucks about this, because, you know, they got Pistons players on record talking and Bulls players, and they had all the footage. It's fantastic to watch. But one thing that you'd take away from that, if you didn't know, G's problem was, you would think that the Pistons were just bullies.
Right.
But the fact is they were really, really good too. They
I know.
played great defense. They had great scoring, great team chemistry, and they won those series. And looking at that, it looks like they just went out and punched people in the face and didn't play winning basketball, but won because the league was different and they allowed you to get away with roughing each other up. When the fact is they were phenomenally good at basketball.
Right.
And just the reason why. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but Fox Sports is airing, I believe, tonight and tomorrow, the 04 Pistons championship against the Lakers.
I've been watching them.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read about it today. So people that listen tomorrow, I think they're doing it Wednesday too, but it's the game 5, the 5-game sweep is the series known as.
I mean, they've been playing some of them because
Kobe shut down Shaq, you know. But yeah, go ahead. What were you saying? E?
I'm just saying they're just going through them again because they did it about 2 weeks ago or something, and I watched every one of them because at the time when it was happening back then, when you're in the moment, it's so emotional, it's happening. You know, you're living every game. You don't really, if you're not a sports writer, you don't analyze them, but be able to watch it 15 years later and watch those games from the 04 championship. We destroyed them, dude, and it's like. You know, game
Shaq
3
was not beatable at the time. If you think about it, Ben Wallace shutting down Shaquille O'Neal was.
Well, they didn't really shut him down. What they basically did was they said, we're going to, you know what, Shaq? You do what you do. Because everybody else's idea was triple team, double team Shaq. But then, you know, Shaq could either get his baskets or toss it. And Pistons basically said, no, we're not going to, we're going to man-on-man Ben and let him get his points. What's he going to get? He get 40 points? Fine. What are these other guys going to do? Let these other guys beat us. And they couldn't do it.
They held Kobe to like 20 points a game.
I know.
Shot like 12% from three land. He shot 33% from the field.
Dude,
They shut them down. And Ben Wallace did put Shaq in his place.
I know he did, but
like Shaq did not dominate like everyone thought he would. I don't want to get into a big sports thing.
yeah.
I have kind of been enjoying, you know, the stations don't know what to air, so they're just airing the old Masters or old championship football games, and it's kind of cool. It's funny, like how much I don't remember. I'm really pissed. I found out the day of or something, and then forgot about it that they were re-airing the '84 World Series, the Tigers games. I would have loved to have watched those, and I'm gonna flip on the Pistons one tonight and hopefully watch that. Because I bet I was at all those games, and I probably don't remember half of them.
I'm telling you, it's just one of those things that when you watch them now, because again, I literally knew they won, but I didn't remember scores necessarily or how games went. And it's like, dude, they start that series, game 1 at LA, and you know, Michaels is just like, oh, most people are thinking this will be a 4-game sweep, and we just dominate them defensively. They don't score 80 fucking points in a game, I don't think, in the end or something, or close to it. Like,
held them to like 85 points or something most games. Shit. Yeah, I think it was 84, 85 points for like most of the.
Dude, a few of those games, they weren't even at 80. I'm telling you, the game 1 and 3, they didn't even get to 80. So.
No, it's cool, man. I'm gonna check it out hopefully tonight. Was something else I want to say. Anyway, you know, we should probably wrap it up here, guys. Email us at email@DetroitCast.com, Travis@DetroitCast.com, Eric@DetroitCast.com, or Walters@DetroitCast.com. Any questions, comments, concerns? So, you know, most of the tech ones you'll get further going to Travis than us. But we could answer stuff. We got one from Bob here. Mike, great to hear another show posted. You're in mid-season form with the story on the cute 10-year-old girl getting killed in an ATV accident. Yeah, I love doing that to you guys. Sorry. Almost as good as you and Jay breaking down the free throw form used to chuck a baby off a bridge in a car seat. Yeah. Well, his form sucked. I don't know.
Right.
So he says, you asked for thoughts on the Wuhan flu, so here goes. In the age of Trump, every negative event gets magnified to the extreme, while any positive event gets downplayed, ignored, or mocked. We live in a world full of viruses and have to manage risk to life every day. People knowingly live in the path of hurricanes and near-active volcanoes and are killed every year, yet we still do it. I'm for opening this economy back up now. 22 million unemployed is a gross overreaction to this pandemic. We can't all live to 95 and then die in our sleep. Get out of our fucking houses and live. The first Tiger game that they allow fans to, I'm going to force the decast to the game, and we're going to sit right next to each other with no masks or gloves and play the cup game with the dirtiest $2 bills I can find. Good day. I said good day, sir.
He's like,
I'm with him, E. I got to tell you, man.
No, I
take
think things need to open the fuck up. I think the lockdown was necessary, but the reality is we're sitting at 55,000 dead in America. 50. You know what the percentage that is? It's less. It's like less than 0.25% of our population.
No, I mean, it sounds bad. And when you do a minuscule number and you go 55,000, oh my God, a couple 100,000 worldwide. Like, dude, it's just a drop in the bucket. I'm sorry. It doesn't justify all the shit we're going through
anymore.
And I understand why people, like, if you don't believe that, like, we should be going back, like my brother and the warden, do not, absolutely not lock down, stay locked down until blah, blah, blah. I said, that's easy for you to say. You're doing okay.
When do they think? Until when?
Who the fuck knows? Until it's over? I'm like,
when's it going to be over?
We're only delaying the inevitable because the virus isn't going to go, oh, no one will come out and play with me. I'm going no. The virus is just hanging around waiting for us to come out of the house.
I mean, that's not, things can go away and stuff like that. The reality is that, yes, they can.
They don't get cured. You don't
know, but viruses have disappeared. I forget, because I heard Fauci talk, one of the last ones where they're like, how come we don't have a thing for this? Like, well, it kind of disappeared. So it can happen.
And it can come right back, too.
I know. The problem is we were supposed to do the 2 to whatever weeks to let them get a grip on it, okay? We've done that. It's a month. I mean, at this point, you do have to fucking open. Now, am I going to go to a bar? If they open up a bar tomorrow, I'm not going to go. But we should all be allowed to make that decision on our own at this point. Yeah.
And we'll wrap it up here. I just think that it's not going to be nearly as deadly as people thought, unless you're an at-risk person with health issues. It's going to kill some people. The flu kills people every year. It just does. You're not going to be like, there's 3,000 cases in Arizona. I don't know how many tens of millions of people live in Arizona. But if you like, your odds are better that you're going to get struck by lightning and win the lotto.
Right.
It's just not that many people, and not that many people have died here. But it's shut down. I mean, you can go drive through, but the way I see people out there, they're wearing one glove or they've got a mask just covering their mouth. Like, people are half-assing it, and I understand why people don't. Depending on what program you're watching at night on the news or what site you're going to get your news. Someone is either saying this thing is total bullshit, we need to be out there making money, we're destroying the economy, or there's the other side that's saying, you walk out your front door and you are going to die. And everyone you know is going to be infected and they're all going to die too.
Right.
And so I'm struggling to go, what do I believe? It's probably somewhere in the middle, but how the hell do I know? This guy's wearing a suit and a tie too. His hair's combed perfect. He seems to think he knows what he's talking about. And then this guy over here in a suit and tie with perfect hair is saying the exact opposite. I don't know. Fauci was saying this was no big deal a couple months ago. Now we can never shake hands again. Well, none of us know. I'm with Travis 100%. Where is the data pointing you? What does the data say? And the data says, while a few 100,000 sounds like a big deal, it's really not.
Hey, Travis, I have a question.
Yes.
I did this 6 weeks ago because I thought, 6 weeks. I have a flight. Technically, I could go to Vegas on Friday and come back Saturday. Would you fly to Vegas or no? Vegas isn't open, but
That's my point. I mean, you could go. I would probably if you have nothing else to do, because there's probably going to be you and 3 other people in the airplane. You're not going to do much.
Yeah.
I read a story today. There was a woman who had to take a flight somewhere and was devastated when she got there because the plane was packed. She's got a picture, and almost no one's wearing masks or gloves, and she sat there silently weeping. So sad. I'm like, you got on the flight too, bitch. Like,
Yeah, I think if
She
I
saw
got,
the people on the gate, by the way. She
Right.
saw the people
she
before.
could have just about faced and walked the fuck out the
Right.
door.
maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should go to the airport, and if there's a significant amount of people at the gate, then I'll just be like, you know what, it's good for me. I'm out of here.
If you do decide to do that, shame them. Just go up to the group and just go, can I have your attention, please? Shame on all of you. Why are you flying? Is this necessary? Do you need to be?
Why am I flying though?
Well, you're just there to shame them.
Oh,
I
mean,
bought
the
a
thing-
ticket to come in here and tell you guys shame for what you're doing. I'm going nowhere except home.
Yeah.
And
That
you know,
ticket
they're
was.
doing it- and in New York, they're doing it to De Blasio. Him and his dumb wife
Saw that.
walking hand in hand, 14 miles from his home, and people are like, "Hey, asshole, is this a necessary travel for you? You need to be in Tribeca right now, asshole. 14 miles from your home."
Someone drove you here. Someone drove you here.
Which I think it's perfectly fine for De Blasio, as much as I can't stand him, to be out traipsing through the park, Central Park, wherever he was with his wife. But if you're going to go on the news and tell all of us to stay home and no matter what and blah, 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 and stay in place orders and people are going to be arrested if they don't, then you shouldn't be just traipsing through the streets with your wife 14 miles from home. That is not a necessary trip, sir. Not a necessary trip.
By the way, the reason I did the Vegas thing at the time was because it was $35 round trip. So I thought, why the fuck not try it and see what happens?
Dude, you're healthy. What's going to happen to you? You get corona and then it's done.
I know.
Shit for a couple weeks.
Well, here's the thing.
You tell us great stories about shitting your pants and puking.
I know.
Whatever, and then
in
you
a Vegas hotel.
And then
Vegas isn't open, but now in the end, but.
So where would you stay?
Where would I have stayed? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, originally I was hoping I would have stayed.
Motel 8. He would have stayed with Tom Bodette at Motel 6 or whatever. He would not stay at the
Vegas. Yeah.
Not Vegas, dude. I stay on the Strip if I go to Vegas.
Do you? I thought you did like Super 8 and shit.
Not Vegas. Fuck no.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. It's getting late where you guys are. I'm assuming. 8:30 is past dinner time. Go get something to eat, you guys. Thank you. We'll do a show. I don't know what your guys' schedule looks like this week, but basically,
let's talk about it.
When I say that, I just mean you, Travis. I don't mean E. I say you guys, but really,
I
Ian,
appreciate it. We'll figure it out.
You're the only one I care about. So I mean that
Sorry.
with absolute love, E. Me and you do not matter because we've got the time, but Trav is it's the linchpin, and he's the one with the busy schedule and family. So as always, thank Jennifer for me and the kids, and great talking to you guys. And we'll bring T-Roy into the mix coming up. Travis, we've been just kind of
I think we're close.
Getting our feet wet and kind of getting everything situated, see how we want to do it, how the best way to do it is. If people have suggestions and questions about how we're doing it, please, Travis@DetroitCast.com or email me or E or whatever. And please use the Amazon link. I know you guys are ordering Amazon all the time. Just go to DetroitCast.com, click the Amazon link, shop as normal. Won't charge anymore, but we get a little credit for it, which helps tremendously. The members area is keeping us alive right now. So E, I know E, you're very grateful and thankful. So
of course.
Thanks to everybody working on our behalf and helping out. It's unbelievable at this time. So have a good rest of the day, everybody. We'll see you probably in a day or two, and we'll do it again. Let me know when we're